All right. In that video for number 5, I went over how to make an API route on the server. With that route, we got all these meows over here. So it's just a simple get route that returns an array in the video I made. But if you've been following along in the entire series and are going into the deep dives, you should already have a fully built out server with all these different routes. So today in this deep dive video, we're going to take a look at some tools that you can use to work on your routes. So first of all, let's focus on the one we made in the 5th video, which is the simple get route. So it's basically localhost slash meows. I think that's it. Yeah. So it returns a JSON array of objects. So it's a simple API route. But what about all these other routes? We have a post route. It's really hard to do like localhost 3000 slash meows and do like a post command to it. There's a tool out there called curl, which a lot of people use. But there's also a visual tool, which I'm going to show you. It's called Postman. And so we have put routes, we have all these different types of routes, but really the only route you can test in your browser is a get route. And even that you have to type out every time. So the tool that we're going to use to make all this stuff easier, which all these backend people use, is called Postman. So you just Google Postman, and then it's getpostman.com, and let's install this Chrome app here. Add to Chrome, add app. Let's see. Okay, so we got Postman now. I can close this stuff. Let me click on that. It's been a while since I used it, so let's see if I remember. Sign up for free. I use my DaveDevTV at gmail.com. DevTV. Okay, sign up. All right, so I've got my Postman set up here. And basically all it does is it lets me do what I did in the browser, which is testing an API route. So let's try one out. Let's see, get localhost 3000 slash meows, send. All right, and it prints it nicely in this JSON pretty format. I can see the raw format, preview, I'm not sure. I guess preview is useful if you're sending back HTML, but we're just sending back JSON, so it's the same thing as the raw. But the pretty makes it look more readable. You can see some headers. I guess these are some default headers that usually get sent. No cookies. Sometimes cookies are sent back in the response when you have a backend. Save your request. Okay, so this is what we're going to get into here. Save your request. A better way to manage your request is to save it to your collections for later reference. So let me save that one. Request name, let me call it get list of meows. Request description, nothing, create a collection. I'll call it a Mittens collection. So you have multiple projects. I'm gonna have a Mittens collection here for all my Mittens routes in case I have another project. So let's see collections here. Mittens, one request. Let's take a look at that. Okay, and all I have to do is click, I guess, run on this. Let's see what this is doing. Start test. Oh, no, I'm not going to run a test. Where are my... Oh, here's my route right here. Open in Builder, and then I can send it. So it's saved for later. One more thing. Actually, before I get into that, there's a way you could simplify it by saving your localhost 3000 to another variable, which makes it much simpler to save all these. But let me do one more real quick. So let's open back up our editor, and let's test posting a meow. So let's try this. Each meow has text. So rec.body, let's take a look at what's in rec.body since that's what we're sending to the server. User.id is automatically included. Okay, so we're gonna have to get into that a little bit, and then user.username. So it's going to be a little more complicated, this one, because we have to pass in that authorization header that our script from the front end, if you recall, when we make a request to submit a new meow, we need to include our token that we used when we logged in. So we can do that here. So let's do a new one. Plus, it's going to be a post request. It's going to be localhost :3000/meows. That's what the request is, right? Yeah, /meows. Type, okay, we'll get into that in a second. Headers, we'll get into that in a second. Body. So the only thing we need to pass in the body is new meow, and then the field, that's the field name, and then the value is the text of the meow. So let's try that. Body new meow, and then value hello, this is new. Okay, so that's it. So let's try it out. It should work, right? Send. No token supplied. So that's the error we got back. As you can see here on the server, we have the server error here. So again, we need to supply this header that our front end is normally supplying. So where do we get this token from? Well, one way to do it, the way that I do it a lot, is to just sign in on my browser. First, before I sign in, let me do inspect to bring up my console, specifically my network console. And then let's log in. So Dave8, and then my password. I sign in, and there we go. Here's my sign in API request down here. Let's take a look at it. Request payroll. There's my password. Hi is my password. Let's look at response. And here we go. Here's my token. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this whole token here, and I'm going to use it in Postman. I'm going to save it in my Postman so that I never have to log in when I'm doing all these requests. So we're going to go to headers, and then for the key, it's going to be authorization, since that's what we made our backend use. And then we're going to paste the key. And then before we go any further, let me just save this whole thing here. Let's call it submit new meow, and put it as part of Mittens, and then save it. Okay. So on the left here, you can see like get list of meows and submit new meows. So let's see if this works. Authorization headers is set. We're not using the authorization tab because it has some pre-built stuff, like basic auth is pretty popular, but it's just not what we're using. You might run into that though. You might run into basic auth, OAuth, things like that when you're out in the field. So there's just different types of ways of doing it, but we have our own custom built authorization thing where we just supply a simple header with a simple token. Very straightforward. And then the body is new meow, and then hello, this is new. So let's send this out. Boom. Okay, we didn't get any response back, but I think it's supposed to be like that. Yeah. I don't think we got any errors. I think it would have showed an error here if we got one, because we made that our server send back errors. And let's run our get list of meows now to see if it's there. Send, and okay, there might be a problem because it's coming through null here. That meow we just added has a text of null. So let's take one more look at what we're doing here. Send headers body new meow, this is new. Oh, you know what? No. Bulk edit. No. What am I doing wrong here? Let me just double check to make sure I'm doing this right. Postman send JSON. Might not be doing this right. JSON. Headers request body. Form data raw. Okay, sorry. If we're sending JSON, we should be choosing raw as the body type. So let's go back here. Let's click on raw, and let's send this a simple object with one field called new meow, and say this is new. Okay, I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna send it. And that looks like it worked. Just drag this up here. No error. Server looks good, no errors. And now let's run the get list and see what happens. Send. Still coming back null. It got added as null. That's interesting. Now, this is interesting now. It's going to force us to debug this now. So let's just make sure. New meow. That's what we have on our server, right? New meow. Authorization. Let me just edit our server to print out what it's receiving. So let's do this. Console.log rec.body. Save that. Let's send this again. It's coming back blank. Okay. Body. Text. Oh, I have to select JSON. There we go. Now it should work. All right, save that. So yeah, make sure you select JSON as the raw body type here on the right. So let's send this. Boom. Okay, there we go. Okay, it looks like it got it now. So let's get the list of meows, send, and then there we go. Text, this is new. So it came through. We can quickly test out, play with our different routes. This is just a great tool for doing it. And one more thing before I want to let you go is instead of typing out this localhost 3000 every time, we can actually save some variables here. So let's see. Mittens, edit, no. Settings, data. How do I let's look up how to do it. Postman, save, variable. Change responses, setting up an environment with variables, manage environments. Okay. So, key value editor, UI element. Where is our key value editor? Manage environments. Okay, this must be it. Add. We'll call it Mittens Dev, because you might have a different environment for your production. So I usually say something dev, and then key. We'll call it server, and then the value will be localhost 3000, and then you update it. Okay, and then close it. And let's just see if this works. I think it's, how do I use it? / EC, generate code. No. Let's try this. Server. I don't think this will work. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Postman. Postman use in environment variables. Setting up environment variables. Okay, it's two squigglies. Okay, so instead of typing out localhost every time, we're going to type out squiggly server squiggly, and then save that and then send it. Nope, that didn't work either. Oh, I have to choose Mittens Dev as the environment, otherwise it won't use the variables. Okay, there we go. So server is saved as one of the variables in the Mittens Dev environment here. So I could have different environments. I could have a Mittens prod environment, which will for the value for the server, I'll call it like www.davedev.tv. So that way it'll hit my prod server, and I don't have to go through and change all of these different requests. I don't have to go down the list and change every single one. I just have to change the variable in that one place because I have it saved for all of them. So let me just swap these out here. Like so, let me send it. Came back okay. And then submit, send, and get a list, send, and there we go. And that is Postman. Hope you enjoyed.